according to clouds. Sure. Sige. So maayong hapon sa tanan. This is our second part on the discussion for week 6 and 7 na courseware. Let's just have a very quick review on the discussion last week. Kay basi nakalimot na mo. And the memo just came out, no, that we will not have classes on Thursday. So most probably, guys, your exam will be on Friday. Then just submit within the day. So dili lang siya. It's actually I will not be asking it via kanang exam or quiz type sa Moodle because lisod kay siya i-manual then mag-time limited. So it's like an assignment type lang akong ihatag na quiz. Sige, so let's have a quick review about our discussion last meeting. So basically, guys, the two types of statistical process control charts are variable and attribute charts. Katong gipang discuss ni Ma'am Lorena was it Lorena? Nakalimut ko sa name ni Ma'am. Last week is actually variable type. So when we say variable, the products, not products, but the values that we are going to use are in range or na siya decimal value, no? So these charts are applied to data that follow a continuous. So basically, the data is continuous. Mo na siya decimal value. So mo tong pressure or measurement or time or kanang iyahang weight, something like that, because kana siya is based on continuous data. Unlike attributes control charts, whole numbers, because they are using discrete distribution, no? So we learned last week, we had different considerations, no, for us to say that the product is really considered or not the product but the process rather is stable. So mo na nga kanang the process is stable, mauna nga, we have to check the 10 Western Electric Handbook guidelines, right? That we discussed last time. Okay, so let me see who are here. Okay, so, kisa may wala ron bi? Okay, I will be calling them. Okay, mas wala sila kakita, no? Taba mo GC, guys? Mo GC? Si Jonalyn na? Wala sa si Jonalyn, no? Si Christy also. May wala. May wala din. Okay, sige. Okay, let us proceed. All right. So when we design a control chart, we have to get the central limit value. That's why we get the average, the grand average of all the averages per observation, no? So the general formula for a control chart, guys, is actually mu, or the average, plus 3 sigma, where the sigma is computed through this one. Sigma over square root of n, where n is your observation. So mo gina siya ang general na formula. However, it was designed in a way na the allowance or the parameter, no, gi-allow na to for error, is computed through the table of constants. Mo na itong nanay A2, A3, which is gikan na siya from the table of constants, wherein we use X and R, X and S. Napaganin na siya X and MR, but di kayo na kumakitaan nga gigamit si X and MR. So muna nga, I would prefer that we choose the katudjong X and S or X and R. Then this is the general grid. So let me just add myself sa meeting. So morning mas ganahan ko ni Zoom because I can write unlike ni Kuan, unlike ni MS Teams na lisod kayo ang iyahang kanang whiteboard, no? So at least here I can annotate. Sige, so let's just wait. So, mo nang makita ninyo diri guys that when you compute no from this problem, your mu is 74 and the deviation is 0.01. Then there are 5 samples taken. So, no, not samples but observation in that batch. So, mo nang ang iyahang sigma is 0.0045. So, I will be joining this kwansa. This is 9293960 0595. Join. Okay, can you hear me, Ramano? Wala ra ako nagsapaw or something? Wala ra. Sige, good. Okay. Wala ra. Basin ako rin nagtubag-tubag sa akong self. Okay. Sige, so let me mas annotate ani oy. Annotate. Yeah. Lagi ko ka annotate. Maka-annotate mo guys. Sorry daw ninyo. Kaita aning di kita wag ite alams. Di mo maka-annotate sad guys?
Dili, miss.
Dili, miss.
Oo, siguro no, kaya ang ako ang PPT, kaya akong gi-background siya, no? Sige, wait. Magkuhan na lang kita, mag-upload kita o PPT. Wait, sa ako mag-GX. Daghan bag commercial, oy. Sige, tara, ako nag-i-open. Saha, mahina ang kalaban. Ayun, sige, balik ko og share screen. I think kung i-basic lang kay kuha na niya siya, maka-annotate na ta. Kana guys, makakita ra mo. So, ay daw annotate guys, maka-annotate. Sa tatong i-discuss. Annotate na. Wala lagi nakabutan diri nga annotate. No, may annotate. But kita wala. How do we allow everyone to annotate? Dara, enable annotation for others. Dara di ay sus. Okay, laban Japan. Balik ta ato kay mas wapa ta atong style. Sige, balik ta ha. So, please bilisan bubuta atong PowerPoint. Sige, balik ta. Dili na pud no.
Nawala na sad, ma'am.
Hay, kalingaw ba ani? Di gid siya masugot. Kinhato ra gid ang anashlu. Dara ni gawas na. Okay, tungod kay ako namang gikuon. Okay, laban. Sige, balik ta. Okay, so mo gini siya ang original nga kuan guys ha. Mo gini ang original na formula. Everything was derived from this formula. Your mean, the grand mean plus The K is the standard mo ng 3. 3 gina siya most likely. So 3 sigma. And then minus the another 3 sigma paubos. Okay? So, for example, no, you have this kanang pwede man na siya ni mong scatter diagram, no? So there's a relationship between tire rating and the load carrying capacity. So which is kung mas taas ba ang tire rating, the load carrying capacity will also increase ba. So inana siya, no? So kita sa mo to akong gipakita ganina. Okay, so mo ni siya. Mo na nga ang formula niya is 74 plus kay ang formula ana is mu plus 3 sigma. Okay? Then ang CL is instead of plus minus na siya. Okay. So this is what it looks like kung imod na tong gi-plot ang given. The UCL is 74.0135 and the LCL is 73.9865. Then the center line is 74. So as you can see, it's really random. There is no kanang pattern found. That's why it is considered this process is still stable. This is according to piston ring na diameter. Now let's just say okay, sige. Muna ni no, this was what we discussed last time, the Western Electric Handbook rules. So, nakay zone A, zone B, zone C, zone C, zone B, zone A. Then, kailangan dili gid mo follow ato ng mga rules. Then, if it doesn't, then this process is considered in control. So, muna siya ang standard formula. Now, let's go to the formula for X and R. So, review lang gid siya ha, manamantaan ni paglas. So for the X and R, the formula is, I think it's here. So kana, the formula is, for UCL, it's double barred X plus 82 barred R, meaning the ranges are in average. Then the central limit, dili na control limit ha, central limit, kaya usually kuha na to, no? Mahimo na to siyang central control limit. So that's central limit, double barred X. Then the LCL is just the difference, no? Gi-subtract ra ang sigma, ang deviation. Then to compute for the R chart, so duha na kabuok, this is the X chart, this is the R chart. So to compute for the R chart, that's D4 barred R. Then the central limit is the barred R and the LCL is D3 barred R. Again, to get the N is based on observations, not on sample size. Again, the sample size is just used to get the average. Okay? Para na siya sa average. It's not for the looking into the table of constants. All right. So next. For the S, so nakabantay mo diri guys na yung formula no sa sigma hat. We call that the sigma hat. So please familiarize that one because the sigma hat will be used for the specifications. PCR rather, PCR. So pag-erase. So para na siya sa PCR. So we will be using the sigma hat for PCR. So meaning to say for R guys, if it's an R chart, then the formula is the barred R over the D2. Still the N is using the observations. As to the S is C4 ang gamiton. So again ha, sigma for R is barred R over D2, but for S is barred S gihapon but over C4. But don't worry because open formula raman yun mo. Even during the face-to-face nga class, wala man sad ko nagpa-memorize kid og formula because technically in the future when you become professionals, magtanawon gyapon tag formula usay gani it's already done via Excel. No? So dito magpapahiro memorize og formula. Okay? So ang formula for UCL is actually gubot na siya na ay mas actually ang S is ayaw lang na siya i-follow Si S guys kay kuan na siya. Ano ba to dali ako notebook? Wala lagi akong notebook. So na ay easier formula for S. Ano na to dali? I think lagi na yung gi-follow ang 3S over C4 lagi. This is the AR. Mo ni ang X and MR, but di na nato na i-tackle kay gubot na siya. Okay, wait. There's a question from Angel. Oh, yes. I will, na-ay recording ato na sa akong laptop. I will upload it via YouTube, then i-unlisted lang nako. Sige, wait ha. Naagid to yung formula ang S, guys. Dili ni siya inani ka complicated. Let me search sa. Ang akong notebook ay nasa, wala diri nasa. I have the book. Diyan, baro ko sa book. Kana quality na siyang book. Kana kanang orange. So, nice simple formula. Dili lang ka to ato i-follow. Or gitagaan mo ni ma'am? What is the formula for A? For S? Dila man, aun sa man. Dili man to siya A3. Lahi na po to A2 na ata to. Gitagaan mo? Or di ko kabasa sa chat na yun. So, basic control limits. There are X and R, then X and S ta. 251. So, kanilang ang i-use, guys. Ayaw lang na siya nga sa PowerPoint kay complicated kay na siya. Here. Yeah, mag-compute pa dito sa average run length. You know how to compute already? Dara. Dara, okay. C4 man lang gamit ko eh. Dara, okay. Sige, I will be writing it in a blank sheet lang so that you can screenshot. So, shall na better screenshot na ta. So, duplicate slide. And I'll just empty this one. Okay, so let me write there. Screenshot na lang ninyo guys ha. So if S chart guys, yeah, mo ni siya. Complicated ra kay na ang C4. So for S chart, we will be using, okay, duha siya. If, madunggan ra ko. So if the sigma is population standard deviation, so duha siya. So if, okay. If population standard deviation, okay, if population, our UCL will be B6 sigma. So, dili gid siya always one formula. Depends kay kung population standard dev, we will be using this one. Then the CL is C4 sigma, and then LCL is B5 sigma. So kindly write that in your notebooks na lang. Okay? I'll try daw nga murag makuha lang siya ba kanang gamay lang siya. So if sigma or population standard dev, BCL is B6 sigma. CL is C5. It's C4 sigma. And the LCL is, then the LCL is B5 sigma. Now, if the standard deviation is, if the standard deviation is just sample, di ba S is the sample standard dev. So if it's just a sample standard dev, the formula is UCL is B4 barred S. So we're getting the standard deviation of the sample standard. We're getting the average of the sample standard deviations. The UCL is barred S and your LCL is B3 barred S. Gets? Nakuha ra, guys? Tell me if nakuha ra. Okay, that is if sample standard deviation. Now, ma'am, pero sa mga mo kay Bob na sample standard dev siya, ma'am, dili siya population. Di ba, ingunta that if the number of n, again, the n here is not, okay, sakto ra. N is observations here, but I'm talking about the sample size. So if the sample size, okay, if the sample size is greater than 30 or equal to 30, we will use already the population standard dev. All right, if less than 20 ra, 29, we will use S. Copy ra? Clear? Type in clear daw, B, para makaibaw ko if nakasabot or wala. Kaya basing wala na sabtan.
Clear, miss.
Clear. Okay. So again, we will use S, B4 barred S, B3 barred S, and barred S lang if less than 30 ang sample size. Ang observations, gamay magida always, guys. Kaya sometimes naray 5 observation, naray kanang kuan na observation, naray 2 observations. So ayaw tanawa observations for the look for choosing whether it's sigma or S. Okay, it's the sample size. Now, for the X chart, so okay na ni? Na-screenshot na ninyo, guys? Okay na? Okay na, ha? Sige. Now, for the X chart, guys, lahi po ng X chart. Ang formula sa X chart, kay here. So, si X chart, regardless of barred or sigma siya or not, it's barred X, the UCL is equal to double barred X plus A3 barred S. And then the central limit or the central line is double barred X ra gihapon, and the LCL is double barred X minus A3S. Di ba ang R kay A2? Siya A3 siya. Okay? More difference nila. Then as to computing the barred S, pwede ra mo mag sa Excel, pwede ra po mo mag-calculate. We need not to do everything manually, okay? Stress tag manual ag compute. Yeah, so muna siya ang computation for barred S. Let's have some problems, no? Okay, I think mo gina yung kuwang na to, wala mo kita nag-solve. Sige, let's have some problem. Okay, this one. Control charts on barred X or on X and S are to be maintained on the torque readings of bearing used in a wing flap actuator assembly. The sample size of N is 10 are to be used, and we know from the past experience that when the process is in normal control, the bearing torque has a normal distribution of mu equals 90 inch-pounds, and standard deviation sigma 10 inch-pounds. Find the center line and the control limits for this chart. So how do we solve this one, man? Sige, ako magbutang po og empty nga slot for the answer. So pag-skip. Okay. They copy. So what are we gonna use? Are we gonna use X and R, X and S, or the general? Sa line. What are we gonna use from guys? Ayun, ikaw. So, ako share screen balik, ha? So, pag slideshow. Aliso de slideshow. Dali na lang. Slideshow from current slide. Sige. So you already have this one. Control charts on X and S are to be maintained on the torque readings of a bearing used in a wing flap actuator assembly. Samples of N10 are to be used, and we know that from experience, the mu is 90 inch-pounds, and the standard deviation sigma is 10 inch-pounds. Find the center line and control limits. So what are we gonna use, man, guys? X and S. X and S. But, okay, nihatag siya no nga sigma siya. So, ang pasabot sa samples of size 10. So, meaning to say, na siya yung mga samples, pero of size 10. Na sub 10 ra. So, you have to be careful in understanding also the N there. Kaya ang giingon, na siya yung samples of size where N is 10, meaning the observation is 10. Sige. So, what formula are we gonna use? So, for the X chart first, sige, X. For the X chart. So, UCL is equal to doubled bar X plus A3. Oh, didi ay kay common din yun. Oh, same ram the bar S. Okay. Then the CL is double barred X, and the LCL is minus. Okay, so mu naman yung diretso na, no? So that's now the average. So therefore, we will write the values. But before that, we will find the table of constants first. Do you have a copy of the table of constants? Tanaw ta diri sa libro. Tanawa sa inyong courseware. So ako na lang ipakita sa screen. Okay, pila man ang value, guys, sa A3 at 10. Sige daw, kamo daw ang pag-find. Ako na, kita na ko. Correct, Jewel. It's 0.975. So 0.975. Therefore, this is 90 plus 0.975 times 10. So how much man na siya? Kana, minus na na siya. Diba? So pila man eh. Wala ko'y calcula ba? Kamu na like calcula para na ko. Sige, you can unmute yourself or you can type in. Pila man, guys. So 99.75. And then the other one,
LCL 80.25, miss.
80.25. So meaning to say, guys, mo na ninyong answer. Si 99.75, si 90, o si 80.25. But, sakto, 80.25. But don't forget the units. So inch pounds, okay? And then inch pounds. Ana ra? Alright, so sayo na kaayo. Sige, let's try daw another one. The next problem daw ta. Kani, 15 successive heats of a steel alloy are tested for hardness. The resulting data are shown here. Set at ay moving man ni. Ayaw na lang na siya. Okay, moving. Sige, let's try this number 2. Samples of N7 items. Again ha, the N7 there is your observation. Are taken from a manufacturing process at a regular time interval. A normally distributed quality characteristic measured and X and S values are calculated for each samples. After 50 subgroups, so that's your sample size, have been analyzed, we have 50 I and then the average for all the 50 is 1,000 and the average for all the S is 75. So letter A, compute the control limit for X and S control charts. Now, if the specification limits are 19 plus 4, what are your conclusions regarding the ability of the process to produce items conforming to specification? So let's answer first the first one. Okay, duplicate. Pagamihan na to. So X and S gyapon ni guys. Kay same naman gid sa sila process, no? Ang mausab raman is how they are kuan. Loading kayo eh. Loading ang PowerPoint. Okay. Sige, so let me slideshow that. Slideshow, good. Sige. So, balik na punta sa main formula which is UCL. So this is for, ay, wako na to na-solve ganina ang S chart day, no? Sige na lang, dari na lang ta. So UCL, okay, before na, we will answer first. Di ba ang formula sa X and S is double barred X o barred S, which is not yet given, correct? So we have to find first. So find double barred X and S bar first. Okay? Now to find that, ningon man siya na ang, di ba, the meaning of this one is summation. Di ba, ang pasabutan na niya is the summation. So the summation of all the values of the excess or the units, no? Or the values itself nga giname niya X. Ang average daw of all that 50 is 1,000. Therefore, to get the double bar R is simply your summation sa tanan nga 50, no? Where I is 1, double barred X over, pila man? Dapat 50. Sakto? Nakasabot ra nga nang gi-divide of 50. Kaya ningon man siya nga, ang average daw, ang grand average daw sa tanang 50 ka buok kay 1,000. So to get the doubled or the grand mean, i-divide na to og 50 ang 1,000. Nasabtan wala. Nasabtan or nag-libog. Anong gi-divide og 50, ma'am? Wala. Sige, be honest, kaya atong balikon.
Sabtan na, miss.
Okay. So, muna nga, this is really discussed in the algebra na part, no? Kay manggawas ni sila balik. So, again, ang goal nato is to get the double barred R. Mo gini siya nga tong goal to get the double barred R. Double barred R, double barred X. No? So, ang gihatag pa man niya is barred X pa man. Para makuha ang grand mean of all the averages, we divided by 50. We will not use 50 in looking at the table. Kay kasagaran, pinana ang buhaton. Adto sa table mo tanaw, no? 50, dili. So, 50 is just used to get the sample size. So, therefore, how much is this, guys? 1,000 then over 50. Therefore, your double barred R is 20. Correct. So same goes with your S para double barred S. So 75 divided by 50. Pila man na? 2.5 or 1.5? Pila man, guys? Na? 1.5. Okay, 1.5. So we already have the two values. So ready na tamo compute for the UCL and CL. Sige, ako i-clear. So therefore, compute na rin ta. UCL is equal to double barred X plus A3 barred X, barred S. Then ang C, which is 20 plus, pila man ang value ni A3, guys. So adto na din mo mutanaw kay the N is 7 man. Adto ta mutanaw ni A3 nga 7. So A3 at 7, pila?
1.182.
Right. Yes, baka na mo mutanaw, ha? Times 1.5. So, pila man eh? Pila? How much? How much?
21.773, Miss.
773. Okay. So always have 4 decimal values, ha? Sige. So ang CL, dali ra kayo, it's 20. Gamay ra yung allowance, no? 1.77 ra. Stricto gid si S. Then si LCL is just the subtraction. So pila man? Di na ako isuwat ha kay mao ra man gid gyapon na 20 minus pila man?
18.227.
227. Okay. So you have now your X charts nga X chart for S. Okay? Now, ito na punta sa S chart. Kay ganina wala ba ta nag-solve, no? So for the S chart, UCL is okay, question. Unsa akong gamiton? Ang katong population standard dev or the standard sample standard dev? Sige daw. What will I use?
Population.
Sample
Ano
standard.
ang answer ay? Anong sample man?
Okay, samples of 7 items and
Again ha, the N items there is the observation, not the sample size. Diba, the sample, pila ka book iyang sample was 50. Diba? Is 50 more than 30?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. So, dili sa, again ha, ayaw mo kaila ng samples of N equals 7. Iyang pasabot, ang mga samples, gi-observe og 7 times. Nakasabot, so mura siya ginani og naong guys, like, sample 1, gi-observe siya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times siya gi-observe. Mo na mayroon siya samples of N, 7 items. Mean to say, the samples are observed 7 times. Mo nang si 7 atong tanawon sa table of constants. But ang iyang sample is actually until 50. Mo nang nakabutang siya diha nga 50 iyahang na sample or batches. Okay? So muna yung basis if population or standard dev. So in that case, we will use the UCL of the sample. Pila man to? B4 man to, di ba? B4 or B6? So the formula guys, kamo may nag-notes.
I dili population standard dev, Miss.
B6, Miss.
Population. B6. Population ka, population. So B6, standard dev. Okay? So, pila man ang value ni B6? So, B6 at 7, gihapon ha. Kasi makalimot mo, masayop mo. So, B6 gihapon at 7.
1.806.
Okay, 1.806. Unya, ang imong sigma is 1.5. Di ba? 1.5 man to? Okay. How much?
2.709, Miss.
Okay. Dayon, imong CL kay C4 sigma man to, di ba? C4 sigma. Pila man ang value ni C4? At 7 gihapon.
0.9594.
Okay. Nakasabot ra guys, asa nagtanaw sa mga values. Again ha, you go back to the table of constants, it's in your courseware. Times 1.5. So pila man guys?
1.4391.
And last but not the least, your LCL is B5 sigma. So B5 at 7,
0.113.
0.113 times 1.5. Pila man? Pila masigo. Kung nalibutan din.
1695, Miss.
1.
695.
0.695. 1.
0.1695.
Okay. Okay, mas gamay di. Kung mas dako siya, 1.4 madami. Okay. So, 0.1695. Sakto. So, these are your answers. 1.4391 and 0.1695. Okay? So, nasabta na, guys. Now, let's answer letter B. So letter B, guys, is actually the process capability. The formula for process capability, or CP, we call that CP, is actually USL minus LSL over 6 sigma hat. Okay, for memorize that, magawa sa paugnat sa utok, no? Na magani paugnat sa utok. So the USL, guys, represents the upper specification limit while the LSL is the lower specification limit. Again, the sigma hat depends. If R siya, unsa to? Barred R over D2. If S siya, barred S over C4. Small D2 ha, lahi ang capital nga D2 ug small nga D2. Kabantay mo sa table of constants, they're different. So, there's a small D2 there, factors of center line, and the bigger D2 is in the factors for control limit. So in this case, we will be using the small letter. So careful mo kay basin ang big letter inyong gamiton. So again, the process capability is upper specification limit over lower specification limit. Now, unsa man na siya, ma'am? The upper specification limit and the lower specification limit is the parameter. When we say parameter, it's the tolerance level of your customers. So meaning to say, they are willing to accept so long as it is within the range. Now, in this case, if the specification limits are 19 plus minus 4, meaning to say the upper, guys, is 19 plus 4 and the lower is 19 minus 4. Gets? So that is upper specification and lower specification. So that's USL minus LSL. Okay, that's for the above. Over 6 sigma. Meaning to say, if your, so inani ang results niya. If your CP is greater than or equal to 1, then the process is capable. Why? Because based on the specification limit of the customers and your deviation, di ba, ingunta, we have to reduce variability. So if the denominator is lower, then it leads to bigger numerator, di ba, mathematically. So mean to say the process is capable of meeting customer demand. Now, if the CP is less than 1, the process is incapable. Then there's a huge chance that your control charts are also unstable. Okay? Because you cannot even meet customers' demand based lang sa ilang parameter nga giset. Dako na gani na ang 4, di ba? So, kana siya. Now, let's compute. So, ingon siya, for being a problem, if the specification limits are plus minus 4 of 19 as your, bali, di ba, the average good is 20. But sa customer, okay ra siya bisag 19 ang mean. Basta lang within plus and minus 4. Therefore, your USL is 19 plus 4 is 23. And your LSL is 19 minus 4, which is, pila ni guys, 15? Sakto ba? 15. Taas kay tolerance level imong customer. No? Your customer is very kanang dili gid conservative customer. Okay ra siya, luag ra siya ang customer. So therefore, your CP is equal to 23 minus 15 over 6 sigma hat. O pa din nato na solve si sigma hat, no? So for sigma hat, guys, ay, pataka lang kung puplok. So again, USL is 19 plus 4, 23. LSL is 19 minus 4, 15. Therefore, your sigma hat is, what am I gonna use? The R or the S? Pila? Unsa ko i-use? R or S? Ayun, itaw. Should I use the R over D2 or the S over C4?
S over C4.
S. Yes, S. No, kay S man yung ato ang gisolve. Okay? So, S, barred S over C4. So, ang barred S nimo kay pila to? 1.5, di ba? Over C4 at 7. So, 7, gyapon ka magtanaw, it's 0.9594. So, kay ni compute daw. 9594 ba tiya sa dakog agi diha ulit? Bati dyan guys, show.
1.5635 means
5635. So therefore, your CP, guys, is equal to 23 minus 15 over 6, 1.5635. So pila man na siya. So that's 8 over 6 times 1 point. Depende, no?
0.8528.
Meaning to say, guys, your process is only capable 85.28%. So, kung pangutanon ka, how capable is your process? It's only 85.28%. Okay? So, ako lang yung tarong. So, your process is capable 85.28%. Is it good or not? Dili gina good, no? Because dako na good kayo, luag na kayo ang imuhang customer, but your deviation is too large that leads to not meeting the 100% capability. So, pwede na gina mo lapas sa CP, guys. The better pagani. Okay? So, ang goal is the CP should be greater than 1 or at least equal lang to 100%. Questions? Mathematical kayo, no? Okay. Wala pangutana, nasabtan ra? Okay. So that's why here, muna siya ang formula. We're also, okay, nasabtan ra. Sige. So muna guys, in this case, as you notice, you have 20 samples, which is just going to help you compute for the barred X, double barred X. But your N is 5. 5 ka-observations. Muna siyang kating N7 po ganina. Okay? You got the barred X, and then the double barred X is mo nang gi-divide to siya nato from 1,000 divided by 50. And then your R's and your S. In this case, kay the sample size is 20 naman siya, guys. Supposed to be S na gid ang proper ana nga gamiton. Kay lapas naman ka og 10 or 12. Kung below 10 or 12 lang imong sample size, fit ra si R. No? But kanilang is just to show values. Alright? So, arita na sa next. So, ayun na moving range, guys. So, more gini ang formula sa moving range, no? For example, kani akong gihatag nga example dire. Kani, para ma-moving, saan to para ma-moving range siya, kwaon ra nimo ang range. For example, from 1 to 2, pila man iyang range. Diba? That's 1. Dayon next, from 2 to 3, pila yung range? 3. Ano ra? 4 to 5, 1. Kani, 5. Then i-average siya nimo mga moving ranges. Mo na imong MR. More good. More good na iyang usually it is used if the data is kana ganing like gisulod gid nimo ba, pila gid ang range from time to time nga sige ka og create sa product, sige ka produce, pila man gid ang iyang range na every time mo sige ka og produce. Okay, but di kayo na siya ambot. I think use ni siya if kanang kuan ka, kanang manufacturing company gid ka, but pwede ra man gid CS and CR, di ba? Muna ang formula ni range kay nani siya. Yeah, dito na siya nga small. Dili siya capital nga dito. Then D4 dagko, D3 gagmay. Okay? Again ha, if the LCL is less than 0, automatic 0 ra gid ay butang. Wala tay LCL na negative, no negative LCL. Okay? Because technically wala may negative nga measure. for these items. Wala may negative inch pounds, negative PSI, negative meters, negative centimeters. So automatic it's 0. Okay? Usually 0 occurs or negative occurs in the sa mga R charts and S charts. So be careful, especially if the sample size is below 5. 0 pa siya kasagaran sa table of constants. Okay? So I hope na naklaro lang na siya. So mo ni ang formula nga atong gi-compute ganina. So PCR is USL minus LSL over 6 sigma hat. Okay. Now, ari na ta sa attribute charts. By the way, no more questions for variable charts. Wala na? Ayo. Walay questions. Nasabdan ra, na-review na nato. Taas-taas gid tag-review, mga 1 hour gid.
Wala na, miss.
Okay. Sabdan ra, sige. So, pag last week na sabdan ra sad tor, naglibog last week. Sige. So, ari na ta sa attribute charts. For the attribute charts, guys, these data are for discrete data. So usually, it's for defective units or defects. Katong variable charts, usually those are measures mga naka-centimeter, meter, inches, mga inana. Kay variable man to, discontinuous data man to. Here, discrete man siya. And usually, we only compute for charts sa quality in terms of defects. Kaya di ba, ningon man ta that the measure of quality is based on defects. So, if we count the number of defects and check its kanang stability through the control charts, then if we find na unstable ang system or ang process, therefore there's a need to do corrective actions, no? So mo na nga si defective units and defects usually mo occur sa P chart and NP chart. So we have, by the way, 2 types of variable charts, the P and NP chart and the C and U chart, mu chart. Okay? So, kanus man ni sila gamiton. Si P and NP, guys, defective units. Si C and U kay defects. Nasabtan ra? So again ha, si P and NP defective units. Kung for example, mingon ko nga kani nga chair akong gilingkuran karon, hiwi na siya, naguba nga kanang ligid gamay, but still it's functional. It's not considered defective unit. Okay? Nala siya defects. So C and mu ra atong gamiton. Pero if the entire chair is dinagid siya malingkuran, which is the basic, no? The chairness of the chair, mao gina siya ngiyang main purpose. Malingkuran siya. If di na siya malingkuran, then it's already considered a defective unit. We will use P and NP. Okay, di ba, as what we know, as what I always reiterate during discussions before, not all units with defects are defective, but all units that are considered defective have defects, di ba? Okay, for example, imong electric fan di na mo tuyok, but still it's functioning, it's not defective yet, but it has defects. Okay, so on and so forth. So remember the formula for UCL, okay? So it still is from the main no nga mu plus 3 sigma over square root of n. So yung gibuhat diri, barred P plus 3 square root of barred P 1 minus barred P over n. Then the CL is just the barred P, then LCL is the subtraction ra gihapon of the 3 sigma. Okay? So, for instance, no, we will not look at the formula lang sa iya. Ceramic substrate. Supposed to be, we construct a fraction defective control. So, ang clue po din ani guys, si barred P is fraction na siya. Meaning to say, probability na siya or percentage. Alright? So may nga siya fraction defective control. Obvious na kay na diretso P, barred P na na. We have 20 preliminary samples, each of size 100. The number of defectives in each sample is shown in table 15.4. Assume that the samples are numbered in the sequence of production. Note that barred P is equal to 800 over 2,000. So mean to say, 2,000 di kabuok ang iyahang kuhaan og sample size. Dayon, the portion ana that it is defective unit, okay, defective unit siya is 800 kabuok. That's why the formula for the barred P is 40%. So usually guys, barred P is in percentage. That's also your clue. Kay C, defects man siya. So it's in units. Gets ra? So to compute for that, okay, so ang need ra gyud nimo nga data ang need ra gyud nimo na data guys for okay. Ay. Sige, ako sa i-crop. So, ay, hala. Okay. Asa na to? Sige, so, medyo gahagok din rin na pasensya. Okay, so kani, therefore, your UCL, guys, is barred P. So, how much is your barred P? Diba it's 0.4 plus 3 square root of barred P, 0.4, 1 minus barred P over square root of L. Sorry, nanaday N. So, ang N diha, guys, is the 2,000. I know, sorry. We have 20 preliminary samples each of size. 100 di ay 100. So not the 2,000 again, malibog astasan ko malibog. So the 2,000 is just used again to compute for P, but ang iyang observations kay 100. So again, the N here is still observation. So that is 100. So how much man na siya? Then your CL is obviously 0.4, and then the LCL is just the subtraction of that, or difference rather, the difference of that. So, yung kontra na gyud diri guys, no? Ang pag-find which is for sample size computing and which one is for the observation, no gyud. But here you don't need man good to use N here in looking at the table of constant kay wala siya sa formula, no? But it is used in computing the sigma kay ang N nga unsay mo ibutang. So how much man na guys?
0.5470.
5470. Dayon ang LCL
0.2530.
2530. So muna nga inibalik na to, no? We will go back to the koan ato ni uncrop. Uncrop, na may term na uncrop. So muna nga yung answers guys kay muna ang iyang answer kay 0.55, iya lang i-round up. So 5470 and the LCL is 0.25. So yung gitangtang ang last two digits of 4 digits, no? So we got that right. Okay. Control Z sa takimawaw niya. Okay. Sige, let's proceed. So yun ra gyud kay ni ang last. Ala, naglagot na gid ko sa akong self. Tanga gid ang show. Okay, here na ta sa this one. Okay, how about for the C chart man, ma'am? By the way, guys, we have another formula Lisuda gid basta walay ko ano walay blackboard Sige, ako lang sa inyong ikuan. So, once naglagot na gid ko. Mga tanga gid ang wash. So here. Okay. So, again, for the P chart, that's UCL is equal to barred P plus 3 square root of barred P, 1 minus barred P over N. Then the CL or the central limit is the barred P itself. Then the LCL is barred P minus 3 square root of barred P, 1 minus barred P over N. Now, for the NP chart, guys, ang clue ra gid ninyo ana is para ma-check ninyo if correct ba yung pagka-compute sa NP chart. Ang inyong UCL of the P chart, multiply ra ninyo sa N, which is the 100. Okay, so atong ikuan ha, kaya ang formula sa UCL ani is NP plus 3 square root of P 1 minus barred P. NP ni NP. Ay. Sige lang, ako sa i-compute. Kinakalimut na sad ko. So, N barred P. And then the LCL is just the minus ani. Ako sa i-compute. Bar ko og kanang calculus sabi. Di ba, pila to? 0.5470 times 100. Dapat ang answer kay 54.70. So, atong tanawon kung makuha ba ani nga formula. So, NP, N there is 100 gihapon. So, 100 times 0.4 plus 3 square root of, ako nimduman kinagid to N. Sige lang. Ito tanawon. Kinakalimot sad ko sa N nga formula. 1 minus 0.4. Yeah, correct. So, ang nigawas nga units kay 54.70. Sakto ba? Mga ni gawas sa inyo ha, guys? 54.70. So, ang strategy ra gid ana is ang imong UCL sa P, multiplyan ra nimo sa N. Mora gid sad na mo gawas sa NP chart. Basta mo ni ang formula NP plus 3 square root of NP times 1 minus P. Then sa LCL, so i-minus ra ni siya. Pila to 0.25 man to, di ba? 0.25. So ang answer should be 25.30 units. Ang sakto ra gyud. Okay? Are we good? Are you good so far, guys? Or na-stress na mo? Carry pa, ma'am. Sayo na kayo na, ma'am. May challenge. Pwede na may mag-exam karon dayon. Sure? Sige. Okay. Let's proceed. Naari na punta ni C and wala lagi si U. Wala si C. Wala lagi si C. So si C, guys. Asa si C? Uy. Sige, ako nalay butang po ni C. So si C chart, diri na ako i-appeal. Si C chart, guys, is mo ibinakasayon memorize so, no? UCL is equal to C plus 3C. 3 square root of C. Ana ra? Makita ba? Wait lang, di makita, no? Saan? So si C chart kay UCL is equal to C plus 3 square root of C. Then ang iyang CL kay si C ra or barred C. Then ang LCL kay barred C minus 3 square root of barred C. Ano ara? Very easy peasy. So, ang difference ra kay si P is fraction or percentage. Si C is like almost equal siya to NP. Ang difference lang, guys, kay si NP manggod is the defective units, the number of defective units. Si P is the percentage of defective units. Si C is count siya, but defects siya nga count. example ha, tagaan ta mong example. Tagaan ta mong scenario. So, clear lang na ako. Tagaan ta mong scenario. Balik lang ko diri. Okay, empty man ni siya. From current slide. Okay. So, for example, no, na kay gi-check na 5 kabuok chairs. So, chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, chair 4, and chair 5. Now, si C, guys, kay iya ra i-count ang tanang defects in that batch. So, let's just say this is your sample 1, 5 observations. Then here na ay tulo ka book defects. Diri na duha. Diri na isa. Kani wala. Then kani let's say upat. So, ang buhaton ni C, guys, kay iya nang i-compute tanan. So, pila man nakabuok, guys? 5, 6, 10. 10 kabuok ang defects. So, ang count na niya, for example, 110 ang defects. Now, to get the board C, is iya na i-divide of 5. Kay 5 man kabuok observations. Correct? So, 10 divided by 5, 2. Meaning to say, i-assume na ni C nga, for every chair nga imong gi-observe, naagid ay tigduduha ka defects. Gets? Wala. Makasabot ra magbisaya tanan?
Nagets, miss.
Okay. Guys, makasabot ra magbisaya tanan? Kay basin na ay Tagalog ninyo ba? Na ay Tagalog ninyo, guys? Bisaya ra tanan? Sige. Sure ha? So again, I'll repeat it. Char opo. Tagalog ni John si Angel. Sige ha, akong balikon. Si C chart is, for example, you have sample size 1, batch 1. You have 5 observations. And then out of the 5 observations, you had a total of 10 defects. Bisan pag tulo diha, duha ra diha, 1 wala diha, upat dira. Okay? Basta i-add na niya tanan. It will add everything in that batch. And then to compute for the board C of that batch, i-divide of 5 kabog observations. Therefore, you get 2. So it is assuming that the first check item also has 2 defects. Also, the second 2 ay ang defects. Bisag kanang, for example, kani wala gid siya defects, but it is assuming that it has also 2. Okay? So that is board C. Now, okay. Here, for you or mu, you lagi ang gamit, but it's actually mu chart. So this time is defects per unit. Ay, okay, sorry, I stand corrected, guys. The first example that I had, katong kani, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0, 4. Inig-count na ko 10. 10 ra ang gamiton to compute for the C. So sa C chart, inyong gamit ana is 10. But if new na siya, it's already the 2. Kaya ang defects per unit naman siya. Okay, kani total defects. Sorry, nakuan ko. The mu there is the defects per unit. Okay, let me clarify that ha. So, mean to say, si C, hapon ra gid niya tanan. It will just count all the defects in that batch. And then after getting all the defects in per batch, divide niya pila ka book sample size. That's the board C. Pero si defects per unit, kay iyang i-assume na each of the unit kay naipig to 2 ka defects. Now, there will be times, no, there will be kanang scenarios na, let's just say na kay daghang sample, 5 gihapon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's say for sample 1, 5. For sample 2, kay let's say 6 sila. So lain-lain siya og mu. So mean to say, yung mu here is, let's say, divide na niya og 5. But ang second, divide niya og 6, divide niya og kanang 7. Depende ang yung observations. Mo nang i-per unit basis niya ang pagkuha sa mu. Now, mo tanong dahil, ma'am, unsa man akong gamiton ana nga n? You will also average the n. Gets ra? So again ha, for example, sample size 1, batch 1, ang n niya kay 7. Sa batch 2, iyang n kay 5. Sa batch 3, kay iyang n kay 4. Yeah, your formula is kadto ba yang mu plus 3 square root of mu over n. Nabiya kay N dira. Unlike fixed ra tanan, you will just use, let's say, 5. But in this case, N here is unknown. Kay different siya. So you will just average all the N. So 7 plus 5 plus 4 divided by 3. 7 plus 5 plus 4 divided by 3. So you're going to use 3. Okay? So muna kasagaran scenarios na may tabo, no? What if the sample is different? Sample size is different. Unlike ni C, wala na ipakisisi kay adra man niya tanan. No? But CU is mo concern man siya per unit basis. Alright? Sige. So I think that's it for the formula. Let's have sample problems. Manata sa mga formula. Sample problems na ta. Ano yung sample problem diri? Sige, nakita tayo tayo. Okay, let me find new problems. Attribute control charts here. I hope na ni mga sample problems. Wala lagi na sample problems. Okay, ngita ta. Attribute control charts. Wala, maghatag na lang ko one seat work. Kamo daw answer. Sige. Ba't hindi mo gawa sa exam? Don't worry. Don't worry. Seat work. Attribute control charts. Okay, here. Quiz man yun eh. Kanilang seat work eh. Seat work. There, PNMP. Ano wala ko seat work sa kuan? Okay, sige. Kani, padiran ni. Number of non-conforming man. So, kuan gihapon PNMP ra gihapon ni. Sige lang. You try this one first. Dungan lang tag-answer para mas pas-pas. Okay, here. So, for example, inspection results of video of the month shipments to customers for 25 consecutive days are given in the table. What central line and control limits should be established and posted if it assumed that any out-of-control points have assignable causes? The number of inspections each day is constant at 1.5. So, meaning to say, guys, your N here is 1.5. Obvious na kayo, no? But your sample is 25 days. Okay, so how do you compute for that? We get first the barred P, right? So akong, ari na lang ito, mag-swap para ito dali. We will compute for the barred P. Ay, mag-Excel to, eh. Mag-solusod sa itong self. Okay. Stop share that. Okay. Saha. Okay. Sige. So here, we list ang problems. Yeah, ito lang i-change. May nakalindot no if Excel na lang kay it will compute for us right away. Okay. Sige. Can you see the screen, guys? Ay, hala, I think di mo makakita. Sorry. Kana. Kita na? Sige. So, ang clue ninyo, number of non-conforming. That's also equal to saying number of defective units. Okay, number of non-conforming units na siya. So, in this case, di ba ingon siya, ang observation constant at 1.5. So, meaning to say, guys, the barred P here, or the P here, or the percentage is actually 47 divided by 1.5. Nasabtan ra? So, di gini madag mano-mano, no? Mas maayo jud naka-Excel ni. So, meaning to say, kuha niya ang number of defective units in the 1.5 observations per day. So, for the July 6, it's 3.13%. Then, for July 7, so on and so forth, mo ni ang mga barred P. So, ato lang na siya i-percentage, no? Okay? So, for July 7, it's 2.8. Nagets ra, guys? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, miss.
Sabtan ra. Okay. So, therefore, to compute for the barred P is basically, dali ra kayo basta Excel. Barred P, it's the average of all the P's. Okay? So, it's 3.06. Kung ato na siyang i-number, because ikuha na nato na siya, general, it's 0.0306. Okay, so ato na siya ipa-round up. Let's round up. Or decimal values lang. Uy, ditch lagi siya. Okay, so 0.036. So to compute for your UCL, so makakompute din kasi yung UCL, di ba? So for the P chart, so UCL is equal to barred P plus 3 square root of, no? Square root of barred P minus, times 1 minus barred P. Ito ba ang formula, guys? Barred P times 1 minus barred P, over square root of n. Now, n, guys, pila man ako ibutang? 25 or 1.5? Sige daw, kamoy think. 25 or 1.5? Oh, namutubag, 25 or 1.5? Saman. Okay, correct, Jewel. It should be 1.5. Kaya again, observations ang gamiton. Right? So it's now 4.39%. The CL is equal to the barred B, and then the LCL is simply kanaara siya, then tuloy fix na to, F4. Ay, hala. Alt F4. Hala. Alt F4 ba na? Alt F4. Ano naman? Hindi. So, ang gina, FN de.
FNF forms.
Hi, okay. And then, ang LCL is, my goodness. Ito magkapit-kapit sa life, di ba? O, mo na siya. Ito lang na i-round up to 4 decimal values. Okay. Maklaro ra ba or gamay ra itong padafan? Zoom in. Okay. So therefore, the NP chart, guys, the NP chart, if ato i-use ang katudlong ko niya chart, na formula niya, so that's 1.5 times barred P, fix po na to FNF4, plus 3 square of n, which is 1, 5, times p times square root of np times 1 minus p. 1 minus p. 6 po na to. Sakto ba? $65.9. And then here it's just 1/5 times the p. And CLCL is same but minus lang. So tanaw na to, no, if correct ba atong NP through simply, no, checking lang ni siya, checking. It's simply that one multiplied by 1/5. Ay, tama. Tamang-tama. O, diba? So, sakto to ang gibuhat. Okay, question so far? None?
Miss,
Conclude.
parang sa kaninang NP chart, Miss.
NP chart is kani siya naka-fraction or percentage. Dayon kani siya is count ni siya of defective units. Any fraction of defective units or percentage of defective units. While si C, guys, si C chart kay count of defects. While si U chart kay defects per unit. Count gyapon, but defects per unit na siya.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay? Sure. So let's have one example, but this time sa C chart na sad. Gita sa ko. Kanina lang. Okay, kani. I'll go back to the, can you see the Excel no? So for example, we have this problem. So kani guys, dili ko musulti kung saan gamiton nga chart. Okay, it's up to you kung what chart is best based on the kanang discussed. Ingon siya, these are the number of non-conformities in a sample of 100 printed circuit boards. So meaning to say, non-conformities equal to defects, no? Tapos wala po siya ingon nga per unit ang basis. Ingon naman siya nga, sa sample 1, 100 ka book circuit boards ang i-check, 21 ang na-find. So technically, count ra gina nimo tanan. No need to gets ra? Okay? Unlike U chart, imo pa na i-divide og tigwa 100 each. So in this case, you'll have to, magsuwat kita ani di ay kay naka-picture file man. So 21, 24, 16, 12, 15, 5, 28, 20, 31, 25, hindi mo ma-Shopee, 24, 16, 19, 10, 17, 13, 22, 18, 39, 30, 24, 16, 19, og 17 and 15. So basically, we have how many samples? We have 26 samples. So to compute for the C chart, ato lang compute na ang iyang average. Diretso ra na si C chart, si Bard C kay langs ra na. I-compute naman na niya tanan. So average, i-average ni mo tanang counts. That's 19.8462. So you will use that here. So ang formula is just 19.4682 plus 3 square root of C. Mura. Ano ra ka simple? Yeah, ang CL is barred C. Nara. Then, ang UCL is minus. Mura. Now, ang clue ninyo, ani, if it is connected to U chart, i-divide na ninyo 100. So, i-diretso na ni siya. Divided by 100. Okay, 100 units man to. So, meaning to say, there are 0.33 defects in 1 unit for the 100 printed boards. Pero wala man ta gipa-require to do that. Ang iharaman is, give me the non-conformities control chart. Ana raman siya. So, C chart ang best ato. Now, tagaan ta mong example nga what if nag-require gid siya U chart. So, mo ni siya. Okay? So, mo ni siya ang problem. Ikadagko po doy. Okay, kana. Ingon siya. A personal computer or manufacturer wish to establish a control chart for non-conformities per unit. So, obvious kaayo na atong gamiton is U chart. The sample size is selected as 5 computers. So, meaning the end sample size or observation, guys, is 5. Okay? So, mo na nga, kung ingon siya na ay total conformities 10. Pareha nino sa computer 1. 10 kabuk defects ang na-found, pero 5 rabia ka units. So, meaning to say, for every unit na ay 2 non-conformities or defects. Sirin po sa second, 12 kabuk ang na-find niya. 5 ra ka computer. So, 2.4 per unit di ay ang defects. So, ang buhaton na ninyo guys is just to get the average of all the use and then divided by 20. Para makuha si barred U. But your N here is 5. So, mga itong giingon ako ganina, what if, ma'am, sa first batch kay 5, sa second kay 7, sa third kay 3, imura sa the average ang N. Okay, so ato ni compute. Sige, ato i-compute. Ano mo sa din naka-on siya, uy? Buwa man siya naka... So, we have 10, 12, 8, 14, 10, 16, 11, 7, 10, 15. Ari lang sa ang uban. 9, 5, 7, 11, 12, 6, 8, 10, 7, and 5. So, ako lang ibalhin ha. So, meaning to kanisa C example ni siya ha. This is for the U exam. So, meaning to say, guys, kani, you have to find pa the U per defects per unit or the U. No? Yeah, 5 man yung sample. So, meaning to say 10 divided by 5. Retso ni. Because you already have, Excel. Then, you get the average na yun, bar U. So, average. Okay, so that's 1.93. So, muna na yung gamiton, Dre. 1.93. So, the formula for that was U plus, today, so U plus 3 square root of U square root of U over N. So your N here is 5. So if ever, again, N is missing, you have to average all the N's. Okay? So 3.79. Then your barred P is just that one. And then minus na po na siya. Question so far. So yun, ano? So mas sayon si Kwan actually. si attribute chart compared ni X and R. Kaya pang tanaw pa ka, mukhang pa ka, divert pa ka. So ang challenge na lang ani guys is how are you going to use the charts or which chart is best for that problem. So muna akong buhaton sa inyong quiz. I will be giving X and R, X and S. So 1 ka X and R, 1 ka X and S, 1 ka P, 1 P and 1 ka P and P, and 1 ka C and 1 ka U. So 5 problems, and it's for you to find out which type of chart is best. So you have to know when to use the chart. Okay? Questions?
Pwede mangayuan ng Excel file, Miss.
Sure. Please save.
Thank you, Miss.
Sige. Wala, ano naman ko dali nag-save. So I will save here, backup discussion. Review. So again, higher, ay, hala ka, bright, gid na ako, eh. Downloads na ako i-save. Backup, Excel, attribute, bawal ma-stress, trust. Sige. So, what we're gonna do is on Friday na ang inyong exam, I will be posting it morning, and then you have the entire day to finish it, then upload lang sa Moodle ang inyong upload lang sa Moodle ang inyong results. Kanara, that's your quiz, no? Para lang na ay I will be also including the CP, process capability as well. Okay? By the way, the formula for average run length is 1 over barred tira. So, ako mag-whiteboard na lang ko. So, si 1 over P, guys, kay kung ano na siya. Like, for example, no, pila to ang barred P na to ganina? Ay, di po ka, nagpita ba? Diba pila to itong barred P ganina? Katong 0.4. So, for example, yung barred P kay 0.4. So, ang average run length, guys, kay 1 over 0.4. Pila ang 1 over 0.4? 1 divided by 0.4.
2.5, Miss.
2.5. So, ang pasabot ana niya, guys, kay for every 2.5 units na namudagan, na mo run sa operations, maka-meet ka og error. Mo na yung pasabot. So, for example, if your barred P is very small, let's say, pareha to ganina, 0.1. So, 1 divided by 0.1, 100. Mean to say, for every 100 units na maabot, diha pa ang defects makitaan. Okay? Because the formula for ARL is 1 over barred P. Okay? So, which is somehow realistic, di ba? Kay, kung gamay ra imong barred P, meaning to say, gamay ra ang defects. So, dugay gid nimo makita ng defects. But for like that, 0.4, dako gid ang defects, no? Imagine, you can for every 2 units na napoy defects nga mugawas, di ba? So that's average run length. Average run length. Muna ang meaning sa ARL. Okay, so I might include that also in the quiz. All right. Sige, so I will I think that's all for this session. Let's have a documentation. Picture, guys. Show non-video participants. Open your camera. Ayo, wala itaw. Huwag mo naligo, no?
Nanghimuta pa, Miss.
Uy, asa naman mo? Apa mo diha? Okay. The Saman General, Hopia, Dailin, Miriam. So, pag-show non-video participant. Kamora? Da ka mga fresh ba? Sure mo na mo nasabtan ha? Bantay, bitaw mo hinig quiz lagi. Mga na sila nga, mamsaon gito. So, kung ano gid siya guys, practice or gid siya. Like, if you know the formula, you can actually answer it ra gid. Sige, go. Okay. 1, 2. Ano na si Bon? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Nawa si Bon. Adra. Kasi nawala. Nawa sa picture. Ayun, si Hopia. Sige. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, thank you guys. So God bless your exam on Friday, and I will be announcing the next discussion via MS Teams. Bye.
Bye, Miss. Thank
Bye,
you.
Miss. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. I-remind ko sa recording ha. Bye.